We are live. This time around, I'm trying something a bit different, and I'm going live from my phone instead of a webcam, just to like test it out and see how it works. Because I kind of want to start bringing this setup or a phone around a bit more and be a bit more versatile with what I live stream. Because right now I'm always consistently in like this corner live streaming, but it would be awesome if I just brought my phone and started live streaming in a park or something, or in a cafe. And I think that that would be really awesome, and just trying it out, seeing if it works, and if it does, then I will probably play around with that in the future. So I'm kind of like curious to see if I can see the live stream that is happening over here on the computer. Let's see. My channel. So I can't see it in the studio area. Yes, I can watch myself watch it. So I guess I have to watch the live stream to actually comment. Let's see what happens. We are live. Does it pop up over here? Yeah, interesting. So whenever I write on the desktop, it pops up on the screen on my phone, which is pretty cool. So I can kind of control the way that it's working and have a bit more control of the chat on the computer, which is cool. Nice. Okay, so we're back at it again. Another cup of coffee, another day. Let's do it. So the change that we're making today was to decrease the brewing temperature. So we changed it from boiling to 95 degrees Celsius. So our recipe today will be a 1:15 brewing ratio, 20 grams of coffee at a 38 grind setting, 95 degrees Celsius, water, and 300 water divided into these segments over here. Let's begin. I'll take you, and I can just twist you down like this. Ah. Let's see. Guess I gotta tighten you a bit more. Like so. Nice. Maybe even a bit more lower. Yeah. Let's measure out our beans. And as always, we're using these guys over here, the Manos Juntas. Measuring out 20 grams. Like so. Yeah, and I also like the versatility of just having a phone camera, because I can also flip it around and kind of like mount it a bit better in places, which is kind of cool. And I actually think the phone camera is better than the web camera overall. Okay, so then we grind our coffee. our ground coffee. Nice, nice. 20.2, perfect. Let's get our water. And a cup to brew in. Like so. Like so. Wonder if I can like bring it even closer. Get our filter. Preheat. I feel like it should be like up over here somehow. Let's see if we can make that happen. Need something a bit more elevated. Oh, well, I'll figure it out for the next stream, but I think it would be rad if it moved like here somehow for the shot. Yeah. But for now, we'll just keep it like so. Pour in our grinds. So today's brew method is with the Tetsu Kasuya method. I've been changing it with this specific bean over here because I've gotten way more successful brews with the light roast Kenyan beans with the more like extraction rate of the higher extraction of the Tetsu Kasuya. And I tried it over the weekend prior and it was really good, so I changed it totally with this batch of beans over here. So Tetsu Kasuya 46. And I actually couldn't put it in the title because on the phone kind of like description, you can only add 60 characters in a title. So I had to like take off something. I should have added it in the description though. Also, morning, Sasha. Let's cool down our water to 95 degrees Celsius. Like so. And let's begin. Start our timer, and we're pouring pretty much 5 60-gram segments. Let it fully drain out. Another 60 grams. It's not like focusing on the brew right now. It's like focusing on my water bottle. I wonder if I can like fix that somehow. Like so. actually, I should try to flip the camera around, use the better camera, because right now it's using the front-facing camera. Let's do that. So we will flip go like this, like this. Give you a microfiber cloth rub, like so. Yeah, that looks better. And the last pour, all the way up to 300. Like so. I'm still flabbergasted by the uniformity of these grinds at this course level. I guess I've just forgotten how inconsistent grinders can be sometimes with bad burrs. Like, look at these grinds. They look amazing. They look so stellar. That's like consistency haven. Magical. I wonder if I can like take this now and do something like this. Yeah, I remember using the old burrs, it would be all muddy and stuff at the top. But here it's really consistent. There's no muddiness and it just looks really good. Like so. Ah. Cool. And there we got our cup of coffee. Give that a stir. Let it rest for a bit, and then we'll take a sip. So I haven't even told my parents yet, but I might just have a casual coffee job coming up in the pipelines, which is gonna maybe throw a monkey wrench in these live streams, but it will have hopefully a added pro of me live streaming like a busy barista setting. I think that would be really fun, showcasing like the different drinks that I make, latte art, and just like things that you do in a cafe. So now that I'm getting a bit more comfy with live streaming and just having you here, eventually that familiarity will hopefully just bleed into me working as a barista and having you peeps beside me. I think that would be cool. That would be awesome. Yo, what up? I usually have some residual fines from my grinder. Usually I would separate the fines with the coarser ones, then I'll brew the usual, but I'd put the fines right before my last pour. Oh, interesting. So you're saying that you're still extracting those fines, but you are lessening the extraction on them by adding them at the end of the brew. I've never tried that before, and I think it would be interesting to try because I do have a crew sifter to like sort out the specific levels. And I don't know, I've never had like it seems like such a tedious way of brewing coffee. But it is if it produces a really delicious cup, then who knows? Like maybe that will be the way to grind in very specific kind of like ranges and then brewing the best part of that range from that grind coarseness and then like combining them all together, those best parts of each uh, kind of like grind setting into a cup of coffee. That would be really interesting to do some research into because what if you could sift coffee perfectly every single time easily? Kind of like a coin sorter, you know? Just like filter all of the things and then like as you're brewing, maybe in like the second pour, you just toss in those parts and like keep on pouring. It, it's for sure a thought. Yeah. But yeah, let's give this a taste. Hmm. Yeah, I would say this is the best cup I've had so far. It has a nice acidity, it's balanced, and nice as in uh, there is a presence of some acidity that is not from under extractedness. So it's not like a super juicy acidity or like something that really reminds me of any specific notes, but the acidity is there and it adds qualities to this cup over here, which usually with the other cups that I've had with these beans over here, it's either been overshadowed by over extracted notes or under extracted notes that is actually sour and not acidity. It also has like a nicer mouthfeel than yesterday's brew, which was a bit over extracted. But overall, the mouthfeel is also the best one so far. And I think that the temperature change probably is the right way to go with these beans over here. Like even though it's a really light roast bean, I have a feeling that these Colombian beans are just more suited at lower brewing temperatures and maybe like a longer steep time because that is totally what's happening over here with the change from the James Hoffman technique to the Tetsu Kasuya technique, where the James Hoffman is all about quickness and like a fast extraction and fine grinds in a very short duration, while the Tetsu Kasuya technique is more about a elongated extraction that you have a longer brew time with, and also coarser grind size. And I think that it just suits these beans better. So yeah, it's crazy how much that technique change really just made these beans go from not the greatest cup to a pretty decent cup. Nice. And like going back to that mouthfeel, I didn't have this mouthfeel before in any of those cups. So on my eighth brew here, finally I'm getting a really nice and pleasant mouthfeel that is present and that is like coating my lips and teeth nicely. So I think this is a pretty big success in my books with these beans over here. And I wonder if we can improve it more, but I don't think so because we only have like two more brews with these beans. So I'll probably take this recipe and write it out and just brew with these beans for this duration. But this time around, I'll also yet again play around with the doses and segments. So I actually want to try that sweetness versus acidity thing again. So I'm gonna try to probably get more sweetness and then get more acidity in the brews. And what I'll probably do is just change it by 10 grams over here. See if that makes a big difference. So I'll do like a 40 gram pour, and then like a 70 gram pour. And then the day after I'll do like a 70 gram pour, and then I mean 50. 50 and 70, and then 70 and then 50. To then really see if I can like learn more about this part of the brewing technique. Because I'm really curious, yet again, if this works or not. Because, like the recipe says, these two doses are supposed to control sweetness and acidity. So if the bigger dose is in front, I believe it was more sweetness, and if you flip it around, it's more acidity. So we're gonna probably try that tomorrow. Overall, a really good cup. Let's write it in on our chart. Let's see. For sure, the best cup we've had. It's pretty high up there for these beans. The extraction is balanced and delicious. I think we've hit a good cup, which is amazing. And tomorrow we'll try 50 grams plus 70 grams, like so, for that first pour. Should have probably like brought you in here. So, ta-da! So this is what we're gonna change for tomorrow's brew, to try to get a different sweetness to acidity ratio in our brew. But yeah, our cup today was delicious and balanced, and it was a success. I'm glad that we finally got to a good point, because I was kind of sad that we weren't really getting good cups of coffee with these beans over here. But it's kind of gotten there. And one thing to keep in mind is that whenever I scale and like rate these beans on taste and extraction, I don't really rate it according to all of the beans and coffees that I've tasted in the past. It's more about the potential of these beans right over here. So trying to maximize the best taste from these beans, trying to like really let it play in its own field. So maybe comparing it to beans that are very similar to it that I've had in my mind before, instead of like thinking about that best cup that you've had once before and then saying that this cup is not that delicious. So if that was the case, the taste would be way far down because it just doesn't compare to that top cup that I've had before. But instead, just comparing it to itself and comparing it on a scale of what I have actually brewed with and tasted with these beans is what I rate, is what the scale is within. So it's interesting because even though this cup right now is really delicious and tasty, it's still probably, in my opinion, so it's personal preference, worse than one of the worst cups that I got from the other bag, taste-wise. So I liked this bag a lot, and the Colombian beans are kind of struggling to blow my mind the same way as these Kenyan beans did. But you really can't compare like apples to oranges. You really have to just rate it on its own taste and say that that is the best cup that I've gotten from these beans over here, and try not to like compare it too much to other beans. That's at least how I approach it. Okay, so that is the phone test live stream for today. I think we had a good success. We're learning some new things, and hopefully everything looks crisp and clear on your end, and everything is working well. I'll see you peeps tomorrow when we try the new recipe with the change in the initial pour dose. and we'll take it from there. Have a great, what day is it? Wednesday, yes. Take care. Let's see, how do I like stop the stream? Huh. Okay. Take care. End stream.